I'm Revati, scholar of Dr. N. Ramakrishnan, Department of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University. Working in Mangalore. It's the most of state to all of you today national level web research in education for aids of research organized by Tamil Nadu Education University Center for Civil Services and TNCC course. First of all, I would like to introduce to our Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Controller, HODs, and all who are the supports of Tamil Nadu education. Every thought you produce. Any action you do, yes, a great pleasure and honor to and also our guide, member syndicate, professor and head, Department of Education, Teachers Education University. I'm so proud and happy to welcome occasion. We welcome. Last but not least, welcome and I thank various colleges. Once again, I welcome you all. May I invite our research person to take over this. Sir, this is time is yours.
Thank you, Revati ma'am.
Okay. Let's start. Presenter option.
Yes, sir. Sir, it's visible?
Yes, you got it. Are you able to see my slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good one. Very now present here. I hope we are proceeding interaction. Everyone pass through this exam. It is echoing. We please have some problem. See, is it clear now? Okay. Now today topic for discussion today is techniques of research, in which we are going to see three techniques. What are these three techniques? Observation as a technique, interview as a technique, and projective technique. These three techniques we are going to see in this class and this webinar. That is, first let us see observation. Actually, research can be conducted by observation. That we are going and seeing the process, seeing the actual process, and that we observe and record. That is also a research. In that observation, watching what people do would seem to be an ambiguous method of carrying out research in psychology. However, there are different types, and you see control observation, naturalistic observation, and participant observation. And first of all, I would like to record that is observation. By observation, we take down notes and we do research. Observing anything, even observing any process, and even observing how a plant grows in a field, that you can observe and record the data daily. That is research. And these observation, we have different types of observation techniques. Then let us see controlled observation. What is controlled observation? Controlled observation is usually done in a laboratory situation. See, controlled observations are likely to be carried out in a psychology laboratory. The researcher decides where the observation will take place, at what time, with which participants, in what circumstances, and uses a standardized procedure. Participants are randomly allocated to each independent variable group. Rather than writing a detailed description of all behavior observed, it is often easier to code behavior according to a previously agreed scale using a behavior schedule. Conducting a structured observation. So already we normally those who are in the agricultural scientists, and they have a control observation in a laboratory situation. We could have seen them in there are some places in Hosur and other places where you can see there are big tents are being there, and in the tents the people are growing plants, and they are observing the growth of it and the yield of it, and all those things are done in a controlled situation, and they decide everything, carried out in the laboratory. The observer decides where the observation takes place, at what time, under what circumstances. Circumstances, you know, the environment and the climatic conditions and all those things. Standardized procedures are used. Standardized, what are the standardized procedures that have to be used in laboratory situation, that will be used in the control observation. Now this slide gives us the difference between control observation and uncontrolled observation. In control observation, according to a definite pre-arranged plan with experimental procedure, everything observation done in a laboratory, but in uncontrolled observation in a natural condition, it is called uncontrolled observation. In a naturally, suppose you are going and observing an animal and its behavior, it will be done in a natural conditions. It cannot be controlled. But what can be controlled? Control, you can see the cross breed of plants in a particular laboratory. How does it sprout out and how does it grow? And all these things can be done, can be seen and can be observed in a laboratory situation. That is the difference between control observation and uncontrolled observation. Control observation, again I would like to say, it is in a laboratory or in the field. It is clear and explicit decisions are made, and it is primarily used for inquiring causality and testing causal hypotheses. Uncontrolled observation, it is not extrinsic or intrinsic variables. It is used for descriptive research. Participant observation is a typical uncontrolled one. Even observation is an uncontrolled one. Normally, the zoologists, when they go for observing animals, they stay there and they live there and they record each and every moment of animal in that particular period. And when they record all the behaviors of animal, it will be a big path, and it will be a lengthy one, and that is why it is a detailed descriptive way. It will not be in a quantified way. They will not put any numbers like that. They will be writing the behavior of animal daily, and they will be jotting down all these things. A collection of papers will be there, and combining all these things, it will be a descriptive research that can be done in the zoo and other naturalistic settings. So this is controlled observation. Classifies the behavior. They observe into distinct categories, and the coding might involve numbers or letters to describe a characteristic. In control observation, coding, responses in quantified form, how many, time and everything they are making. So for example, Mary Ainsworth used a behavior schedule to study how infants responded to brief periods of separation from their mothers. During the strange situation procedure, infants' interaction behaviors directed toward the mother were measured. See, for example, mothers were infants were separated from mother, and their behavior were observed, and they have coded out the observation and about what the child does in the absence of mother, and that has been recorded. And that is in a laboratory situation. It is in a predetermined way. Predetermined is a standardized procedure, following standardized procedure they have followed. That is controlled observation. Again, the things are proximity and contact things seeking, contact maintaining, and avoidance of proximity and contact, resistance to contact and comforting. The observer noted down the behavior displayed during 15-second intervals and scored the behavior for intensity on a scale of 1 to 7. So normally they will be having a scale and the intensity of behavior. Intensity of behavior, suppose for example, the infant is separated from mother. First it will weep, it will cry, it will weep, and they will record. So first 10 minutes, how does it cries, how does it cry, and to what extent it cries, the intensity of its crying, weeping, and the next after 1 hour interval again. So this is an example. So like that they will be doing. This is control observation. So in control observation, sometimes the behavior of participants is observed through a two-way mirror, or they are secretly filmed. Sometimes secret filming is also there. This method was used by Albert Bandura to study aggression in children. So the Bodo doll studies. In the Bodo doll studies, the aggressive behavior of children is filmed, because when the teacher is present, the children will not exhibit their aggressive behavior. Suppose in a class, suppose you are all teachers, and when you are seeing in the class, the students will not make any mischievous thing. But in the absence of you, they will do some pranks and other things. So how to study the behavior of children at the time that we can have a film or two-way mirror through which we can observe how do they behave in the absence of teacher. This can be done. This is what Albert Bandura, a psychologist, has done. And a lot of research has been carried out in sleep laboratories as well. Here electrodes are attached to the scalp of participants, and what is observed are the changes in electrical activity in the brain during sleep. The one machine that is known as electroencephalogram. Electric means electrodes that you know, and encephalo means brain. That encephalogram, that is EEG. It is not ECG, it is EEG. Normally psychologists are using this EEG to monitor the activities of brain. Suppose even for lie detector and all, and people are using this EEG. Suppose you are asking questions, for example, you have caught a thief and you are asking questions related to the theft last week happened in the nearby locality. And that what normally the psychologists will do, they will attach this EEG in the scalp of the participants, and they will be sitting, and the police officer will be asking questions related to the theft. And when you are asking questions about the theft, the brain activity, how does the brain act in that particular situation, that will be measured. If it acts in an intense way, that we can say that he is culprit. He has done something. That's why his brain activates. And suppose I can see a person, though he has committed that theft, he will not show any kind of reaction to that. And that also, when they show such type of behavior, it is very difficult to find out the real thief. And normally in lie detectors they are using this electroencephalogram is also a controlled observation. Controlled observations are usually overt, as the research explains. The research aimed to the group, so the participants know they are being observed. And even in these lie detectors, we are all using lie detection means suppose the same thief is an exponent in that particular field. Having come to know that I will be used the lie detector, they will be putting something in my skull, and through which they will monitor my brain activity. And having seen all these things, suppose if you ask some provocative question, you may not respond to that question. You may simply maintain calm. That time he knows very well. That is the drawback of this controlled observation. And the controlled observations are also used are also usually non-participant, as the researcher avoids any direct contact with the group, keeping a distance, observing behind a two-way mirror. Normally a two-way mirror is used, or secret film is used. This is naturalistic observation. Naturalistic observation is the research method commonly used by psychologists and other social scientists. This technique involves studying the spontaneous behavior of participants, natural surroundings. Why we want to have this naturalistic observation? In an artificial situation, the animal may react in a different way. But in a normal way, how does it react? That has to be observed, that has to be studied. If it is the case, then you have to go for a naturalistic observation. The researcher simply records what they see in whatever way they came. In unstructured observations, the researcher records all relevant behavior without system. There may be too much to record. The behaviors recorded may not necessarily be the most important. And actually, as zoologists, when going to a jungle and observing the behavior of animal, and all the things will be recorded. And after recording all the things, gradually we will be eliminating all the unnecessary things. That will be done in the naturalistic observation, because naturally you have to write all the things. Finally, you have to eliminate which are all important, which are all not important. See, this picture clearly shows what is the naturalistic observation. Where lab studies are difficult or less useful, researchers can observe subjects in their real life environment, goes there and studies the behavior of animals and even the behavior of children, observing the behavior of children in the naturalistic environment without letting them know they have been observed, they will be observing. And compared with control observation, it is like the difference between studying wild animals in zoo and studying them in a natural habitat. I have already told you, and if you go and see Vandarur Zoo, and where you can see elephants, how do they behave, and the elephants in the jungle. If you go to this Mudumalai Wildlife Sanctuary, where the elephant will behave in a different way than the elephants in the zoo. This is the difference between naturalistic observation and control observation. With regard to human subjects, Margaret Mead used this method to research the way of life of different tribes living on islands in the South Pacific. Kathy Silva used it to study children at play by observing their behavior in a play group in Oxfordshire. So normally in human beings, that scientists, researchers are going and studying the behavior of the tribal people. And 1 year or 2 years before, you might have read in newspaper, in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, still there are tribes and people are trying to enter into that tribal area, and before they are entering, they have been killed by those tribes by arrows, bows and arrows, and people wanted to study the pattern of life they are leading, their culture, their behavior, their beliefs, customs, systems, everything. Because in tsunami, every place was affected. There were a lot of people who were washed away by the sea. But these tribal people have not at all been affected by this tsunami, and they led a normal life. And everyone is wondering, how did they come to know that tsunami will occur, and how did they prevent themselves? And these are the questions. When you have these type of questions, naturally what urges us to study, we want to know the alarming pattern they have. How did they come to know there will be a tsunami? And to what method they identified that there will be tsunami? Though we have a modern equipment, modern technological advancements, we couldn't find in which place at what correct time the tsunami will occur. But they have identified, they have taken precautions, and they have saved their lives. And these are all the things in unexplored. That should be in naturalistic observation we can find, but it is remote possible. And participant observation. In the participant observation, the investigator goes and mingles with the tribe and observes the behavior of the people. And in the most cases of most African countries, the researchers went inside the particular area, and they mingle with the local tribe there, and they lived the life what they led, and they observed their behaviors, and they made a study. This is what naturally we are doing in the participant observation. We go as a member and observe the behavior of others. That is the participant observation. So this is the participant observation. You also go and join with them. In non-participant observation, you be an outsider and you are observing them. So this is the difference. So in this, we have seen the difference. Non-participant observation, observer is an eavesdropper, someone who attempts to observe people without interacting with them. Non-participant observation, eavesdropper means you are stimulating them to make some move, and without their knowledge that they are being observed, you are observing. Used most routinely by psychologists. Psychologists normally go for non-participant observation. When in participant observation, observer participates actively for an extended period of time, may require observer to live or work in that area. For example, in a tribal situation, you just imagine the tribal situation for participant observation. Assume that observer will become accepted member of the group. So what I said, in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the tribal people have not accepted people. They shot arrows from their bows and they killed the people outsiders. But in most of the tribal people in Africa, they have accepted the foreigner and they have asked them to live. They have allowed them to live, and while allowing them to live, and they went and studied, lived with them, and they studied about their behaviors. This is historically a field research. It has been most associated more strongly with the participant observation. Then participant observations can be either covert or overt. So it can be both covert or overt. Overt means doing explicitly, and covert means doing implicitly. Implicitly. Covert is where the study is carried out under cover, and but in overt it is open. Okay. This is participant observation, and in that's why the researcher takes a false identity and role, usually posing as a genuine member of the group. On the other hand, overt is where the researcher reveals his or her true identity and the purpose to the group and asks permission to observe. Sometimes the group say, no, we are going and we would like to, suppose foreigner comes, he wanted to assess socio-cultural cultural aspects of a particular village. Suppose you can take any one village or Sambakulam village or some village you can take, and when foreigners, when they come and they announce that we have been here, we would like to stay with you for 20 days or 1 month, and we would like to record your socio-cultural behavior, and this is a study that I have made for my graduation and all, they will be saying, and if they say it is over, without saying, they just come and mingle with us and they record all these observations. That is covert observation. That is covert observation. These are all the two types in the observation. So now that is observation technique is over. In the observation technique we have seen participant, non-participant observation, and naturalistic observation, controlled observation. This is controlled and uncontrolled observation. Unparticipant observation is an uncontrolled observation, and controlled observation and participant observation, and we have naturalistic observation that we have seen. So now interview method, that is a technique of research is interview, and actually interview is another method. Interviews are different from questionnaires. Normally we prepare questionnaire, we supply to the respondents, we ask them to respond, and we collect the data and we find out the results. But in research, and we can also employ interview. We can go on with a set of questions. We can ask questions to them, and we can record their answers, and after recording their answers, we can come and we can write a detailed explanation of their answers, and we can make analysis of that in a descriptive way. That can also be done. That is through this interview method. And interview method, for example, closed questions provide people with a fixed set of responses, whereas open questions allow people to express what they think in their own words. So in closed survey questionnaire, and they have to respond to the answers given in the questionnaire. But interview, they can make their own statements. They can make their own they can make their own statements. They can make their own opinion. They can make their, in turn they may also question us. So in that way, the interview is most useful. And there are two types of interviews: structured interview and unstructured interview. A structured interview, we go with a set of questions, predetermined questions, that is known as structured interview. And if we don't have any structured interview, just to ask if whatever that comes to us, that we are asking questions, that is unstructured interview. And another one is focused interview. Now let us go one by one. This structured interview is a quantitative research method where the interviewer a set of prepared closed-ended questions in the form of an interview schedule, which he or she reads out exactly as worded. So first you are writing questions beforehand and just reading one question after another question. That is known as structured interview. For example, clarify the meaning of the question, job interview, all these things are structured questions. This is, let us see what is unstructured interview. Unstructured interviews do not use any set question. Instead, the interviewer asks open-ended questions on a specific research topic. Normally, in a television programs, we have often found, and the people are going with a mic and asking questions about what do you think about the present economic situation? What do you think about the present economic COVID-19 situation? And when you ask questions and people are responding to them, based on the response again you are asking questions without any pre-planned questions, means it is unstructured interview. And another one is focus group interview. Then what is focus group interview? It is one of the qualitative approaches, and where a group of respondents are interviewed together, used to gain an in-depth understanding of social issues. For example, for common social issues, you are asking a group of people. You are going and you are suppose you want to know about the people who are living in a slum area, and what are the precautionary measures the government has taken, and how did you prevent yourself from COVID-19? And if you go to the slum area and you ask questions to the entire group and asking them to give responses, that is known as focus group interview. Focus group means the group which have been affected. Suppose you have a particular village, and you can see in the particular village it is severely damaged by some in the hill areas, nearby hill areas we can often find, and the people are affected by the wild animals, boars and other elephants, which are all damaging the agricultural crops in that particular area. Suppose if this is the situation, we have to make an in-depth study on that, then we can directly go there and we can ask the group of people who are there about that particular situation and how their lives are being affected by the wild animals, in what way they can prevent the entry of wild animals into their agricultural field. And when you ask all these questions, this is known as focus group interview. Actually, it is used in the interview to ascertain the social adjustment of people and how do the people interact with other people. So the method aims to obtain data from a purposely selected group of individuals rather than from statistically representative sample of a broader population. The role of the interview moderator is to make sure the group interact with each other and do not drift off topic. So in the focus group interview also, and is not allow them to go out of the main area, and you have to bring them back, and you should act as a moderator. Suppose if anyone deviates from the main question of wild animals damaging agriculture crops, someone started criticizing the government, you should not allow them to do, and you have to bring him back to the main question here. And in that way, you can make the group, you can control the group's activity, and that is possible in the focus group interview. And the interview should have adequate knowledge of the topic being discussed, and everyone should have the adequate knowledge of the topic being discussed, and you should exercise mild, unobtrusive control. That is very important. Mild, unobtrusive control. You should have a mild control. Very often in the TV debate, we often see, and people are raising their emotions, raising their speech, raising their voice of their speech, and get emotional. And when they get emotional and when they raise their voice, the moderator there finds it very difficult to control them, very difficult to pacify them. In that situation, there is no focus group interview. A researcher must be highly skilled to conduct a focus group interview. For example, certain skills may be needed by the moderator, including the ability to establish rapport and knowing when to probe. And you see, normally in the TV debate, and the people are correctly entering into the point. So when the discussions on political agenda, political decisions are being taken up for discussion, and when they say the opposition party or the ruling party, when they say something, and in the correct point, exact time, the interviewer or modifier interferes and asks questions, critical questions to him, and trying to bring all the inner truth in that. That is possible only through this focus group interview. And normally, and these are all the techniques we have seen in interview. And normally, the interviewer effect is the one thing that affects the credibility of the interview. And let us see what are those things. Because an interview is a social interaction, the appearance of the behavior of the interviewer may influence the answers of the respondent. You should have an appearance. It doesn't mean that you should be like a cinema star to ask questions. But the appearance should be neat and you should be polite, and all these things form of all the important manifestation and body gesture and all these things be proper. Then only the person who are being asked question will be giving answer. Otherwise, he will just shy away from that question, or will just skip that question and he will move away from that particular place. And that is possible. This is a problem as it can bias the results of the study and make them invalid. So, suppose if you are going with a particular icon in your shirt, particular brand in your shirt, and you are asking about that particular brand, the people will not say the truth, and they will say something to satisfy you. That time, that the interviewer effect will be there. For example, the gender, ethnicity, body language, age. If you want to study the behavior of children, students at the age of 20 to 25, and an old person may not be suitable. At the same time, if you want to make a detailed study of adults and senior adults, or the retired persons, state persons, or people in the old age home, and you cannot send us tender age boy or girl to study their behavior and other things. So age factor is also there, social status also there. In the same way, for example, if you want to make a study on the women and their role and their roles in the society, and the women, what are the problems women facing in the office, and when you have to get answers from them, it is not advisable to send a male. So it is advisable to send a female to ask questions from the female. And when a female asks questions like complicated questions or personal questions, they may be able to answer. But before male, they may not be telling all these things, and they will avoid such type of men. And that time, these are all the interviewer effect. And what are the design of interviews? And first you must choose whether to use the structure or non-structured interview. So it's design first. Next, you must consider who will be the interviewer, and this will depend on what type of person he is being interviewed. And there are a number of variables to consider, gender and age. This can have a big effect on respondent's answer, particularly on personal issues. So, if it is an old person, people will reveal. If it is a young person, people may not reveal. All these things are there. And personal characteristics are also an example. Some people are easier to get on with than others. Also, the accent, the appearance, clothing of the interviewer can have an effect on the rapport between the interviewer and interviewer. Suppose if you are going and moving rashly with the people will be hating you. And if you are showing some awkward appearance and improper clothes, improper behavior, and if your clothes are not showing that you are a modest person, and people will not respond to your questions, and you should be a decent appearance should be there. It doesn't mean that you should be a cinema star. You should go with all the makeup and other things. You should have a decent approach, and the way in which you are asking questions should be polite and simple and humble. And you should not ask in a harsh way and a harsh way. And these are all the things naturally should be considered for conducting interview. The language the interview uses should be appropriate vocabulary. Should not use jargons. Word jargons should not be used. High level words should not be used. Simple and easy sentences should be used for getting answers. And the interview must ensure that they take special care when interviewing vulnerable groups such as children. For example, children have a limited attention span, and for this reason, lengthy interviews should be avoided. So, children, when they are at the play time, and if you keep on asking questions, they may not respond. They may only respond to one or two questions. For all your questions, they may not respond because their concentration will be on the play things, on the playground, with the friends and other things. So, in that time, you should avoid a lengthy interview. Ethnicity and the different ethnic groups are there, and you cannot go and ask questions and that to the another ethnic group. That group is just opposite to your group, and when you have these type of differences of opinion, differences of culture and other things between one ethnic group and another ethnic group, and you should avoid going there and interviewing people That is the thing, ethnicity. And these are all the two techniques we have so far we have seen. And one is first observation and participant observation, non-participant observation, and naturalistic observation. And in that interview technique, we have seen structured and unstructured interview and focus group interview. Now the third technique is projective technique. Mostly these projective techniques, immediately what should come to your mind: thematic perception test and row searching plot test, sentence completion. So all these tests are used by our psychologists to assess personality. So in that way, these projective techniques are helpful in knowing the hidden truth of a person, hidden truth of a people. So that is why we are using projective technique to know the hidden truth of a person. Mostly these are used in the market research. In the market research, what product the people are purchasing, what brand they are liking, and why do they like, what is the secret behind it. And if you want to know all these things, you have to design a projective technique so that you can elicit answers from the respondents. Normally, I said, it is used in market research, because in market normally we don't reveal. Why do you prefer? Suppose if I ask you a question to you, why do you prefer that particular biryani and another brand biryani? Then he will come out with many. There is the tasty. The rice variety is very tiny, small, and aromatic flavor that I see, the aromatic flavor that I sense in that particular biryani is so good, and that's why I prefer the service condition and the other thing that he will be saying. And when naturally you are asking questions, normally he will not reveal. So that is why the researchers are using projective techniques. The projective techniques will make you give responses, even make you do responses involuntarily. That is the thing they are using projective techniques. Projectives are questions or exercises designed to uncover people's deeper feelings on a topic. They are purposely set up to ask key questions in an indirect way. They are not meant to replace top-of-mind responses to direct questions, but can provide insight not gleaned from traditional questioning. Insight answers. Projective techniques are used to obtain deep understanding of emotional needs, barriers, and motivators. That's why we are using projective techniques. So there are so many techniques. I have listed more than 13 techniques here. Let us see this mind map. In the mind map, this is a great exercise for thinking of a focus group. Each participant receives a mind map with a word. Suppose I am writing a word in the blackboard. Suppose in the blackboard I write one word, a festival. Then you will be asked to build up other words related to festivals. Then normally what will come to your mind when I write a festival? Then you will be thinking of other items like that balloon and other things, playthings for children and elephant, and there will be a lot of play activity like there many varieties you will be keep on writing. So that is elicit responses for that. That is mind map. So asking you to respond to that particular topic word festival. Festival normally wearing new clothes, ladies will be wearing the silk cloth, and that pujas will be there, and there will be a lot of in the villages. There will be some chakras and other things will be there. The roller coaster and other playthings will be there. There will be a lot of shops for selling products like dolls and other balloons and other varieties will be there. People will be gathering. And if you start writing so many words associated with the festival, gathering people, pujas and this and that, and celebration and firecrackers, and if you start thinking, many things will come to your mind. And this is just like brainstorming. Then asking you to respond to that particular word. And that is known as mind map. And next is picture shot. Then you will be given a picture, and you will be asked to represent what type of picture you are liking, and why do you like, and what the picture represents according to you. And suppose if I give in the thematic perception test or in the research ink blot test, when ink blot is given to you, how do you view that ink blot? Some may view it as a beautiful lady, some may view it as an Indian map, some may view it as local area and local area network like that. So in that way, that is known as picture shock. Then deprivation, and you are given a product, and you are immediately that product is taken away from you, and you are deprived of using that product. And how do you behave? And that we want to assess. Suppose daily we are using toothpaste, but you are put it in a particular situation. No toothpaste are given to you, but only 2 powders are given to you. That we would like to assess how do you feel without toothpaste. How do you lead your life without toothpaste daily in the morning? Or suppose you are taking coffee in the morning, but you are all of a sudden you are stopped taking coffee. And how do you feel about your life without coffee? And how do you feel about your life? Most of the sugar patients, they have been asked not to stop getting sugar, stop using that sweet items like halwa and other times. At that time, if you ask them, that they will know that is deprived. What is deprived? They are deprived of using sweet like halwa and other sweets, and laddu, bundi, like that. And if you ask them, and how do you feel about that situation, that is known as deprivation technique. So when you ask what are the inner feelings that they have about that deprivation, they will just project all those things. That is another technique used in projective method. Then hereafter I would like to give there are 10 techniques. Withdrawal techniques. A withdrawal technique is the same like that of deprivation technique. You are given a brand and you are stopping that brand. And now we have seen, there were many brands earlier. Now those brands are now not there. There were many TV brands. Now those brands are there, not there. And there are many brands with regard to certain medicine. Suppose earlier period we have seen used tooth powder, Gobal tooth powder like that, Gobal Palpadi like that. Now it is not there. And if it is removed, how do people feel about that? And a person will be coming and recording all your behavior with regard in the absence of particular brand or particular thing. That is known as withdrawal techniques. Then next technique is mood boards. And in the mood boards, you have to be insightful and you have to write and so visual manifestation. What comes to your mind and what you come to. Excellent examples of mood boards from unrelated projects. Suppose be clear on timings, product as possible from which the mood board can be created, fabric, colored pens. So suppose you have been given with this fabric, colored pens, pencil, glitter, newspaper, everything. You have been asked to write a picture or drawing or something like that, and what comes to your mind you are writing. Suppose you are in a happy mood, that you will be writing a happy event, and if you are in a deprived state or if you are in a depression state, then you will be writing, you will be drawing that, and these are all things based on your mood boards. Another one is time machine. There is a time machine, for example, and earlier period during Christmas, what people exchange as gift and what people used to exchange as gift in the present Christmas period. Earlier people would have exchanged clothes and something like that. But now you can see the people are exchanging mobile phones. Even now you can find, for birthday and all, earlier people used to give chocolates and other things. We have not seen this cake and cutting cake and blowing off candles and all. But now people are doing that. And after that, earlier gifts were something different. Now the gifts are mobile phones and other electronic gadgets. So this is known as time machine, where you have to ask what people will be doing after 20 years, after 20 years, and that type of questions when you are asking, that is known as time machine. And another one is brand personification and brand obituary. And what is this brand personification? If you are using that brand, you think that brand is yours, how will you behave? And suppose if the brand is not there, the brand is not in the market, what will you do? Suppose you just imagine the Sony is known for audio and video players and all these things, and our headphones, all these things we are using Sony. Suppose the Sony company is not there, what will you do? That is known as brand obituary. Brand is not there. Earlier we used to have icons, film icons for some of the products. Now the icon is not there. what will you do? What will happen to that product? A particular cinema heroine is advertising for a particular product. For example, an oil, for idli pudi or sambar pudi, some cine stars are acting for that product. So suddenly or all of a sudden that cine actor or is not there, and what will happen to the product and how can they market that product? That type of thing is known as brand personification and brand obituary in the essence of that particular product. And how do people behave? Suppose if there are a lot of restaurants, there are no restaurants, and how do people behave? How do they change their lives? And how do they? Earlier, the common eating was normal. Common eating was normal. Now the common eating is not normal because in the COVID-19 situation, we are not allowed to go to hotel or restaurant or to take common food. And that time that we have not been allowed to do, that is known as brand obituary. That is brand personification and brand obituary. And you see, brand association with restaurants often provides insight. And Talapagati restaurant, you can say Talapagati restaurant, and some other thing. There might be one for Brota shops and other things. Suppose that Brota shop is not there, how do people feel? Without in the 2 months without any Brota or something like without 2 months without any biryani, and how do people feel? And these are all the things are brand obituary. And this is example for that. And role play. You have been asked to play that particular role. And if you are normally in the children, and we are asking them to play a role of a tree, play a role of a thing, and the children will exhibit his or her inner talent, and will say something more about that particular tree, what he or she thinks about that. And when you do such kind of role play, and more inherent things will be coming out. That is why we are using role play as one of the projective techniques. And courtroom drama. In the courtroom drama, there are many techniques. This is also one of the techniques. The courtroom drama, and there is one particular case. There are people who are against and who are for, and you are acting as a lawyer, and you are case by case analysis you are doing. And then first you are supporting the case, and you are opposing that case, and you are what leads to the progress of the case, what deteriorates the case progress. And all these things are discussed. That is known as courtroom drama. What actually happens in the court. In the same way, you take up a particular issue and you are analyzing it and you are giving feedback to that. You are just giving your argumentative opinion related to that particular case. You are supporting it, and you support you are adding your supportive arguments with that case, and you are also putting your arguments against the case. When you do all these things, when you do both things, that it is like a real court, that is known as courtroom drama. Another one is treatment. The treatment is another great example of using stimulus materials to encourage respondents to disclose their feelings and emotions. Actually, all these techniques are used to make people disclose their feelings and emotions. Respondents can be shown prepared drawing showing various characters living and interacting with the tree environment. So, suppose for example, another treatment technique: climbing, falling, hugging, sleeping. These kind of things it can do. Suppose if there is a tree, those people who are lazy people may be considered having sleeping, and those people who are hugging the tree because they may be environmental bliss. And those who are falling, that you are facing failure. Those who are climbing, maybe we can call them as those who want to make effort to climb up the ladder of life. And these are all the things that we can ask them to put in a character wise, and that is treatment. Respondents can select the characters within the drawing that best represent how they might have been feeling in a given scenario. The insights are generated. These are all the techniques. So suppose you are asked to give your role in that particular treatment. How do you feel? Do you climb or fall or hug or sleep? That kind of character we are asking them to put responses to that. Then psychodrawings. The psychodrawings, how do you, suppose you are putting a lot of subjects to that and asking them to respond. How would this make you feel? How would this make you feel? how do you feel about a particular product? How do you feel about that is given in a drawing form. Actually, psycho drawing. Suppose you are served with a pizza, and if you wanted to respond to that, I as a marketing personnel, I would like to know how do my customers feel about that particular pizza. So I will give a piece of paper. You just give a picture drawing the happiness about that pizza that have been served that has been served to you, and they may put a smiley and say, "There I am smiling. I'm very happy." Sometimes they may show a smiley which is just staring at you. That means they are not happy. This kind of psycho drawings can also be used in projective techniques. And this is the planet. So in that planet simulated method, in that it is a technique where see it's an imaginary journey through space. And planet brand, for example, and you will be asked, you are going to a planet, what does it look like, what are the people like, what are the buildings like, how do you feel, what do you see, what do you hear, what do you smell, where do you go, who do you talk to, what do they say, how do you feel about spending 6 months here, how do you feel when you are asked to live, and you are given a simulated situation. Simulated situation means in Tamil it is called as Bhavanam, right? And where suppose in Kolarangam, the planetarium, and some if you are brought to some planetarium and other places where you can feel you are being in the space. You can feel that you are as if you are living in a space. And that time if you are asked a lot of questions, then you will be responding to that. That is also one of the techniques, projective technique. And finally, the last is see. And you are an astronaut, you are going into planet, how do you feel out, what are the people you would like to have here, and what type of food they would like to have here. And when you ask questions, the people will be responding to all those questions. That will be recorded by an investigator. Then bring an item. And this is bring an item. And this is also one of the projective techniques. And at the point of recruitment, respondents are asked to bring to the group an item that they associate with or make them think of the brand in question. Suppose you are associated with a particular brand or particular item. For example, even if you are more associated with a pen, you are asked to bring that pen and you are asked to respond to the item. So you will be given a lot of questions related to that. You will be responding to that. Why do you prefer, and all these things? These are all emotional attachment to that particular. Normally, if you are using Hero pen, and why you are using that Hero pen, and what kind of attachment do you have towards that pen? Or suppose if you are using a shirt, a branded shirt of Peter England or something like that, you will be asked to bring your Peter England shirt, and you will be asked questions. Why do you prefer Peter England shirt? What made you to like this Peter England shirt? And all. When people are asking questions related to that, you will be revealing all the inner feelings regarding that particular box. And that kind of thing, that kind of technique will make the people to understand why do you buy that cloth, what made you to buy that cloth. And if they come to know, and they will do some market research, and they will improve the products that they are manufacturing, and they will bring out a new product based on the customers' inner feelings about that particular product. The same is the case for physical biryani or something like physical biryani, or for any product market, popular product, Sony or Prestige cooker or something like whatever the brands that are available. And you can make use all these projective techniques to know the inner feelings of a person. How do you feel about that particular product? And these are the techniques normally used in research. So in this class, we have discussed there are 3 techniques of research. Observation technique. The observation we discussed participant observation, non-participant observation, and naturalistic observation. And that is interview method, structured and structured interview, focus group interview. The projective techniques, there are so many projective techniques. And in psychology, we are using thematic perception test, role searching test, and sentence completion test for personality assessment and other things. So there are so many times with the 13 items we have seen discussed the projective techniques. Normally, through these we are making research, and that is known as techniques of research. So with this, I wind up my discussion. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Like our earlier classes, in this class also I have constructed a test of 10 items, and it will be supplied to you through feedback link, and you appear for the test. And to those who get 90% marks will be given certificates. Thank you so much for your patient listening. And with this, we have completed A and B in the UGC NET syllabus in research in education. Next session will be research in education part 9. That will be on C. Slowly we will be moving into statistical part of this research in education. So thank you so much for your patience listening. Wish you all happy day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful presentation and explanation with livelihood example, sir. Participants, if you have any doubts or questions, please put on chat box. Sir?
Yes.
Sir, one participant asking, please explain about brand obituary and brand personification.
Brand obituary is nothing but you all know about Bata showroom, Bata shoes. Suddenly, Bata has stopped making shoes. The Bata brand is not there. That is known as brand obituary. Obituary means one who has expired. That product is, or the brand is expired. It is not in public view. Now, I will tell you, because you are I think you must be a girl. Earlier, we had Fair and Lovely. Now, they have given a new brand name. What is that? Do you know that? Glow, Fair and Lovely, now Glow and Lovely. That means there was a lot of criticism against that brand, because all the persons, those who are fair or people are praised, and those who are not fair or not praised in that. So it is against the black people. Now they have changed the name. That is, the earlier name has gone. That is brand obituary. Brand is not there. And brand personification, which brand do you prefer? Suppose if you prefer a particular brand for your, for example, if you can say for your toothpaste, for your clothes, and all, which brand do you use? And that is known as brand personification. Why do you have to feel that as if that is your brand? That is brand personification. Is it clear, ma? Is it clear? After whether he got.
Yes. Sir, one more question, sir. Sir, one more question. What is different scale and inventory?
What is?
What is the difference between scale and the inventory?
Actually, that has not been discussed here. Actually, we have different type of scale and inventory. It is echoing. Stop. Actually, inventory is a larger circle in which we can use scale. Okay, inventory to find out. That is inventory. To find out the feelings of people, we are using inventory. That inventory may be of a Likert type scale or any type of scale. That is the difference. Is it clear?
One more question, sir.
You asked whether you are satisfied with my answer.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, it's clear, sir.
No.
One more question.
Inventory, common term. We are saying inventory is a broader term in which we can use. That may be Likert type of scale. I have already told. Strongly agree, not at all agree, strongly disagree. Then you have both sides, negative in between. That is known as Likert type of scale. In the inventory we can use. Okay, next. Any question?
Yes, sir. Which techniques is best for measuring happiness?
Already which technique was used for measuring happiness, because I think that candidate is not happy. He wants to assess that happiness. You can use happiness inventory. Available in the market. or the inventory is available in the net also, we can use that happiness inventory. Even some inventories are available online that you can use and you can find out. And why do you want to observe the happiness of a person? I think next question.
I think no more questions, sir.
Okay, you can wind up.
Yeah, sir. Shall we conclude it?
Okay.
Now I request Mrs. Muthurani, Research Scholar, Mangarkarsi College of Education, to deliver a vote of thanks. Muthurani, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to all gathered here. It's my. Can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Good afternoon, all and all gathered here. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I express my gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Controller, and all the head of the department for arranging such a wonderful session during this pandemic period. Thank you so much to all for your support. I extend my gratitude to our valuable resource person, Dr. N. Ramakrishnan Sir, Member Syndicate, Professor and Head, Department of Educational Technology, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, and Coordinator of Center for Civil Services and TNPSC Coaching. A teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, and touches a heart. Yes, you are really open a mind by your informative speech. Thank you so much, sir, for showered us with your knowledge on research. Thank you so much, sir. I extend my special thanks to Dr. M. Arokya Prasilla Ma'am, Principal of Mangarkarsi College of Education, to provide this opportunity. Thank you so much, ma'am. And my heartfelt thanks to all the participants for their active participation in this whole session. Thank you all. As no program can become successful with a single person. So I extend my thanks to our technical team members. Thank you guys for making this event successful with your contribution. Once again, I thank you all for your valuable presence. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Muthurani, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Wind up, sir.
No, wind up. We'll leave the room.
Thank you, participants. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.